And we're live. Welcome to episode 3 of The View with Vertex. I'm your host, Isaac Morrison, and today we're going to be talking to a local entrepreneur. He's a property developer, proud Salfordian and people's champion. He's self-funding a homeless shelter in Salford, and we're going to get his story and find out about his kind of background and what's led to this little venture. So, James, morning.
Good morning. Nice one for the introduction as well.
Oh, is it afternoon now? We've spent so long setting up.
It's 15:15. Well, yeah, afternoon. I've only been here 2.5 hours. It's all right. I was just joking.
I was just saying to James a couple of seconds ago, I said, I bet you thought he was going to be here for about 20 minutes. Yeah. And then, 20 minutes, half hour beforehand, and then probably an hour for an episode, and then off you pop. But
yeah. It was that thing. I brought my dog. Thought I'd bring him. He'd be all right in the van. Yeah. He sat in the back seat, and we've had to go and get him.
Yeah. That is outside, is it?
He's sound as a pound.
He's got some water. Yeah. He's sort of he's chilled out, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been there. Well, if he was here, he'd be snoring. You'd hear him a mile away. So glad he's not here. It'd be sound that way boring. I hope not to sound like that anyway.
Yeah. So you could probably tell with we're sort of sorting through the teething problems and getting used to the tech and everything. But episode 3, and what we try to do is get people on with kind of interesting stories, and like it was mainly around the scaffolding industry, obviously, because that's my background. And then as I was sort of scrolling through LinkedIn a couple of nights ago, I see this thing pop up, and it's saying this guy, and he seems like he's full of energy, and he's like, we're doing this thing, we're going to build an homeless shelter, it's going to be self-funded, you can buy a brick. And I was like, wow, what's this? And straight away it was like, well, I was drawn to it. I thought, aside from wanting to get people from the scaffolding industry on, and it was a scaffolding company.
It was Wayne Connolly.
It was Connolly Scaffolding. But aside from that, I just thought the other thing with this podcast is we want to get important messages out. We want it to have a community feel to it. And then, that story, I just thought, wow, we need to hear more about this. So before we get into that, just take it back to the beginning. Your background, you Salford lad, aren't you?
Salford lad, yeah, born Lambworth. I was born, actually, the carpet shop that I'm developing. I was born probably 200 metres from, well, I was born in the hospital, obviously, but 200 metres from that was where I spent my childhood. And the carpet shop that I bought, we used to get our carpets from for our houses. So, I've actually been looking at this building for all my life. Yeah. It's a shame to see it go the other way, to be fair. There's a bit of sentimental value to that. That area for me is my full childhood. Yeah. So
So there's personal history behind it. I think that's what makes it so kind of captivating, because it's that story of wanting to give something back to your local community and whatnot. Yeah. Which is
it's pretty. Yeah, well, it's that, and it's something that I think it should be done. I've seen firsthand with people, how homeless are treated. Yeah. It's not, they're like, I wouldn't say they're palmed off, I'd say, but they're put in hostels and hotels and things like that.
Yeah, it's kind of, I suppose there's a sense of maybe out of sight, out of mind. If we can get them off the streets,
they're not seen.
Job done kind of thing, which is like, that's the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much more that needs to be done on top of that, which we're going to get to, because it's, as you've said, and you said in a lot of the posts that you've done on social media, it's not just your average homeless facility. It's going to be much more than that. A place where people can develop life skills. Yeah. But sort of back to your kind of early days growing up around Salford. I mean, I'm a Moston lad, so I guess
it's around about the same thing.
Yeah, similar kind of experience. I would guess.
Of course it is. Potato, patata, and that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same background. I mean, we're going up on the street of Salford. It was I wouldn't say it was hard, because I had a great childhood.
I feel sorry for the kids now, actually. More so, but
there's the kids nowadays. There's lots of the room on social media where we had a childhood. You played, went out and played with your mates. You go out in the morning. My mum wouldn't see me all day, and I'd come back for my tea. And that was it.
A bit like my dog. You get into Miver, don't you? You get into
my dog. Then I had a whisk. I had a Doberman. He was the same. The whisk. He'd get up in the morning, have a bit of something to eat. The dog would piss off out. He didn't get walked. And at tea time, he'd come, and the best thing was a Doberman, and he could knock on the door. So he just knock on the door. You open the door, and the dog would walk in. Tea time.
That's changed as well, hasn't it? So much in the last few years. I remember my mate had a dog, Max. He was brilliant, and that same thing. You just like open the door in the morning, out he went. Yeah. And we're Moston lads. Yeah. And we'd sometimes knock about with our mates in like Ancoats and Miles Platinum, places like that. And you'd be walking and they'd be going, "Oh, hiya, Max."
So he got there.
He proper got about, yeah.
Well, that's what Whiskey was like, my dog. Exactly the same. That's when a dog had a life, wasn't it? You know, they were treated worse.
Yeah.
You know, there was dog shit everywhere as well. You'll probably remember that.
Oh, I don't know. I tell you what, I need to charge my bleeding camera on my Zoom doorbell and my Ring doorbell.
Someone keep...
Oh, every morning. It's like little presents outside the door. Like,
landmines.
Yeah, God. So, yeah, it's
man.
maybe not changed that much. But like you say, you grow up in those areas.
Yeah.
Real big community. You're out with the lads. You know, heads and bobs until the street lights come on. Then someone shouts you.
You were in.
Yeah.
Your mum shouted for me tea and to get in at night. And that was always an headache because I'd always get off, you know. Yeah. I'm not getting home yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, another thing we were talking about off air, and you can go into this as much or as little as you want to, but early days, not as much as we were happy times, happy memories. There were, you know, challenges and there was a connection to kind of, maybe not...
Homelessness.
Yeah, homelessness, where a lot of people think when you say homeless, it means living in a bleeding doorway outside of, you know, your local supermarket or whatever. You know, there are so many different types of homelessness. What was your kind of story with that?
Well, basically, I was diagnosed with ADHD. It was probably a few years back, but I've had it all my life. You know, when I was a young boy, a teenager, I used to knock my head on a pillow to go to sleep. Yeah. So that's how hyperactive I was, and that's exactly what I've done. And you know, I had to see counsellors for it in my teenage years. And
this is back in the days when you're just a naughty kid.
I was just a naughty. Yeah, it wasn't ADHD.
I was saying, by the way, just off camera, James is 46. I had no idea. I thought it was like similar age to me. It was like, and when he told me, it was like, he said, you know, this was in the 80s when I was growing up. I was like, that's why I was born in the 80s. Do you know what I mean? So
thank you for that.
Fair play. I give you a compliment on
thank
camera.
You, cheers. That'll do. I'll have that. But yeah, so I had impulsive behaviour. It was just in the 80s. There was no ADHD. You're a naughty kid, and that's it. So my dad was just thinking, slapping me about a bit because that's what Dad's done then in the 80s. Yeah. It wasn't like
it was my mum. She was the discipline in our house, but it was normal. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think both of them. You know, I was getting more wingers than most people anyway. That's for certain because I just had this behaviour. It was just naturally naughty, or naturally. You know, I went against the grain constantly, and I was constantly moving and fidgeting because obviously it's a disorder. So anyway, in the end, my dad couldn't handle it no more. He didn't know what was going on, and I was going home and I was just getting headache. So I just thought, I fucking can't handle this no more. Yeah, I'm fucking off. So I just one day went out the door and I said, I'm fucking not going back. So I goes back. I couch surfed with a couple of my friends. I was 15, around about 15 at the time. Maybe, yeah, I was still in school anyway, that's for certain. So
and finished school as well, didn't impact your school too much?
No, well, did it? Well, I think the ADHD did, because then even the teachers didn't know. So back in that day, I mean, I just missed the cane, because I would have been getting that a lot, that's for certain. But,
I've got memories of primary school.
Still getting a slap round the head.
Yeah.
You know, and thinking, and the same in school, because I'd just be bark out mad things in class just to make everyone laugh. Yeah. And it was just the impulsive behaviour. So it felt like at school I was getting a bit of an hard time all the time as well. Even though I was pretty smart, to be fair, I wasn't like I wasn't thick. Yeah,
I think in the backgrounds that we've grown up in, it's there's a different kind of there's smart, there's school smart, there's academic smart, but there's like I think growing up in that environment, it you know, teaches a bit of resourcefulness, and I don't want to call it like a certain cheekiness or like a you know, I'll get it by hook or crook. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that takes there's a real intelligence there that a lot of people don't sort of realise. And I think nowadays, hopefully, it's kind of changing, when we can tap into kids who've got that bit of outside the box cheekiness and that energy about them, and you know.
I mean, sometimes it's normal common sense. You get born with common sense. So don't do that. Yeah, well, don't do it. And sometimes the way you get older things, like you're saying, then the cheek of people, you know, we're more of askers, aren't we? You say, well, give us that, and they go, I'm not giving you that.
Yeah, but you find a way, don't you? You're like, I need it, and I ain't got the silver spoon, so I'm going to get it. And if it means, sound a little white lie, or if it means maybe, well,
whatever.
Yeah, you get there, you get there, and then don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. And that's just, I think it's born into us being from Salford, Moston. You know, it's actually that you from that upbringing where it is a little bit rum.
You know? And you've got to make do what you got. So
yeah.
Breeds that sort of resourcefulness, I guess.
Yeah, and plus, you know, we wasn't loaded.
Yeah.
My dad did run his own business. He was a mechanic.
Yeah.
And being a Salfordian, car thieving was good at that time. So but it didn't help his business when I started nicking cars and the car radios when I was 14, 15. So that then, my dad, obviously, my dad had to get rid of me in a way. So when I ran away, I think it was weight off his shoulders because he must have thought, fucking hell, it wasn't good for his business. That.
Yeah. Well, then you're sort of like, you've moved out, you're sort of having to find your feet, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way, and you know, make your own kind of path. You've not necessarily got the.
I didn't have the tools at all. It was too young, you know. But luckily, I had a best friend, and his dad realised my predicament, and he said, "Listen, you can come and live here with us." So obviously, he went and seen his dad, and said, "Listen, give us his gear. You can come and stay ours." So he got us an extra bed in his room, and he was. I was with Darren and David. They were the two brothers, and the dad, David. So the next 5-6 years, I just stayed with them. I sometimes went back to my mum's here and there, but it was.
Yeah.
Me and my dad just clashed.
Yeah.
It was a massive clash. And even, we still do now, really, but now it's just like, piss off you. Do you want? And he says the same to me. Go on, I go, see you later. And that's it.
Yeah.
But that's just the way mine and my dad's relationship has been probably throughout my life. But I'm pretty close to him now. Like, you know, I just accept, you know, I was a naughty kid.
Yeah.
You know, I probably wouldn't have drove me out the door, but in the same sense, I wouldn't have, I don't know. I'm at a crossroads with that one, thinking, I was naughty, but like
so much has changed in the last few years, and it's changed for the better. And like we were saying off air, weren't we? Like those stories, they kind of they form you, don't they? They make you the person you are now. So it's like you wouldn't change anything. And I suppose, you know, had you not been through that, the kind of homeless side of things maybe wouldn't have resonated as much. And you might not have found yourself doing what you're doing now. So it's like all roads lead to, you know, where you're kind of meant to be.
Well, it gives you backbone and strength. But when you're in them sort of environments, it strengthens
Sink or swim, innit?
Yeah, that's what it is, sink or swim. Thankfully, I swam.
I
started swimming. Started learning how to swim, as you'd say.
So you sort of go through school, get yourself a couple of jobs. It was it commercial?
I was a HGV fitter.
Yeah,
I've done that for the first since leaving school from about 16 to say 18, 19. I worked for a company called BRS, just off Ashburton Road in Trafford Park.
Yeah, around Trafford Park sort of area.
Yes.
And then sort of eventually find your way into property development, which leads to the carpet shop that you took over. What was the story there?
Well, basically, I was coming to property development was I took a course, a Robbie Fowler course. It's not like I forgot what the name of the course was now. I had it wrote down, but I completely forgot. And I only went there for 4 days. And I came out there and I thought, because I'd had a failed security business, I'd tried a few more businesses, it wasn't going right, but I was doing okay. And I just thought, wow, why haven't I been doing this? Why didn't I come to this course a long time? I could have done this years ago. It just gave me an up, and I already knew a little bit about property development, but I didn't know as much as I did. I think
when you start out in like early days, your primary focus is the pound note, and it's like making some money. And that's kind of like a lot of people can think they're successful before they are, because you might have a security business, this business, that business, and it's bringing money in, and you're going out, you're eating in nice places, you're driving nice cars and whatnot. But you stop doing it. You stop. You don't turn up for work one day, and then suddenly the money just stops rolling in, and it's kind of back to square one again. Whereas with property, there's that bit more of a, you can build wealth rather than
rather than having it in your pocket, it's stuck there in it. Well, it's there in equity. There's been a few times over the past few years, to be fair, where obviously I've invested a lot into what I'm doing now. So I've sold what my bread and butter was, a couple of rental houses. So that wasn't coming in. So really, in hindsight, how I would have done it in a different way, I should have kept hold and refinanced, but I just wanted it straight away and said, right, let's go. At the time.
Yeah, he's learning on the job though. Again, it's another one.
It's only been 5.5 years that I opened my company ago. So Yeah, it's one of them. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, one of them moments where you just think, right, this is it. You know,
Yeah.
I've lost my way here a little bit.
So with the property development, you've like found something that's
that resonates. I thought I can do this.
Yeah.
I walked out that Robbie Fowler thing. I thought I should have been doing this years ago. Straight away, I'd built a house in Worthington at the time.
Yeah, we were saying as well. I felt like a lot of the stuff that you did, it was like, you know, you rip out yourself. And I've similar myself when I've had my house, and you do that bit yourself because it's like you just get a bit back to brick, aren't you?
Yeah.
But then obviously other people come in, specialists and stuff, and you kind of learn from them.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I came out of that meeting. I refinanced my house, and I looked for cheap houses in Astley, Salford, Manchester, and I thought, but I think I've seen 3 or 4. I had to put 25% down, put them on buy-to-let mortgages, and then basically what I was doing then, 6 months down the line, improving value in the houses, refinancing the houses,
and
going again.
Yeah.
So that was basically what I'd done. But I started off, you know, with everything rolling. I'd never been on the job before. I'd not really been into property. I didn't know the first thing, but I did know how to rip an house out because basically it's like going at gym, and it's like you pull everything apart, rip it off. It's actually quite fun.
It's all right, isn't it?
I enjoy, in fact, I still enjoy it to this day. You know, any time that, even with a carpet shop when this was getting ripped out, I was there most days, just being there. And, you know, I didn't have to be there because I'd paid a demolition contractor to do it, to soft strip it. But I thought, no, piss off, I'm going to go and do this.
Yeah.
You know, what's the point in bleeding just being stood there when it can get done quicker?
Yeah. So this was I guess what you call pre-pandemic, when you first took over the carpet shop. Before COVID and everything. You had the building. You were going to do it as apartments.
Yeah, I bought the building in September 2019. The original plan was build 9 apartments. Bit of a security thing. Sell them.
Yeah.
Sell them, you know, a comfortable profit.
Yeah.
And what happened, I actually put in for outline planning, and there was a homeless charity that I knew quite well, a lady called Dawn. They were called JVA, the Joint Veterans Associations. I think that's what it stands for, JVA. But it's basically, they help veterans that have gone on the streets, and they go out feeding, and they're a good outfit, you know. People who are poor, they go and drop them furniture off. They open soup kitchens here and there, pop-up soup kitchens are all over the show. And I thought, you know what? I bet they could use this. Yeah,
just before it had been...
Yeah, but like I said, it had lighting, heating, showers, toilets. I thought, well, what a waste of space. I'm not doing anything. You know, the building's just sat here. Nothing's happening with it.
Yeah, waiting for what? Was it like planning to get approved?
To get approved. I knew it'd be to and fro with that as well because of what it was going to be, apartments. It was in the middle of a terrace street, so I knew there'd be people who'd be objecting against it. And I thought, you know what? I'll approach them and see what they think. So I approached the lady, and she was over the moon. She went, "You're joking?" She said, "How much?" I went, no. I said, "I don't want no money for this. It's not costing me anything." Maybe the bills did a little bit. Yeah. But I said, you know, if you want to put 2 for the bills or something like that, then just do it. I said, you know, I don't mind helping the homeless. I've been there myself. I said, so anyway, next thing, she got to work straight away. I think it's on my Instagram. You can see it, you know, but there was a load of old carpets in there anyway. So we laid the floor with carpets. It was concrete floor. Laid the floor with carpets, put carpets on the wall, so we insulated the building a bit more. So we put the heating in, so the heating stayed in there. Then we put a few tents in there, put some furniture in there, and then we opened a soup kitchen from it.
Wow.
And it was just, mate, it was amazing. You know, what was happening, there was probably 3 or 4 rough sleepers in there, in the tents, but they were helping manage and keeping security on the building as well. So it was doing me a bit of a favour.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Being in the middle of Salford, you know, there's a few firebugs down there who just...
Well, not only that, it's the bleeding metal and the, you know, the
that's right,
the copper and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Can easily go missing.
Easily go missing. And, you know, people break into things for that, especially when it's just an old derelict building. They'll think, tin shutters, lead in the roof.
Fill your boots.
Yeah, basically that. So, in a way, it was helping me out with people being in there.
Yeah.
But, as you said, COVID rolled up probably 5 months later, March 2020, am I right there?
Yeah, it was around that time. I think that's when I was working for a training company at the time, and I got furloughed. So I was saying only last week, my experience of like lockdown was, you know, everyone had a different experience of it. Mine was quite pleasant, really.
Yeah.
I was on 80% of my normal wage. I just had a son. Obviously got 2 daughters and a son. He was 3 months old at the time. The weather was mega. I was having barbecues in the garden.
Yeah.
I was loving it. Do you know what I mean?
March as well. The weather just went amazing, didn't it?
I did
For 2 months.
did a health and safety course, which allowed me to set the business up that I'm doing now with like a health and safety and training consultancy. I had a really good experience of it, but obviously for a lot of people that wasn't the case. And we were speaking before, weren't we, about about domestic violence and the spike that COVID had caused there.
And that had shot up. And as I was saying, it comes to COVID, then obviously the planning was going to go nowhere. So I knew these people were going to be in here for quite a bit longer. I'd bought an house on Branksome Drive in Salford as well at the time. So I was ripping that out myself. But in between, I was popping to the carpet shop, making sure everything was okay. And I started working from the carpet shop then, basically, as well as doing this little house I was doing. And I thought, you know what? This is fucking great. You know what I mean? I thought, this is amazing. I could see people being happy in there. Food was being served. People were turning up just for food. Then the furniture was going out to the door to support people. I was thinking, what an amazing project this is. So I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to fucking dig deeper and see if there's any sort of avenues of funding where I can open a homeless shelter. So, done a bit of digging, went on the internet. I think I put something on Twitter at the time, and Paul Dennett, the Salford mayor, he got hold of me. He said, "Listen, seeing this, contact these." And then I put it in my Twitter. It's from, if you wheel back, it's got to be too far. It's got to be early 2020. And I basically say, I want to make an homeless shelter. I'm not getting any replies off no one. Where do I go with it? And Homes England sent me a couple. Listen, inbox us, send you this. So they put me in the right direction. And there was a lady called Susan from Homes England. She said, "Come down, head down, let's have a chat to you." So I went down with a lady at the time, and so we started discussing about, possible homeless shelter. Told her about what I'd been doing. She was well happy with it, and she said, there's been a spike in domestic violence. I said, yes. She said, well, that's homeless women and children. I went, yeah, I'm all in. Yeah. She said, well, there's a lot needed for that at the moment. I said, would you like to, what about a refuge? I went, yeah, 100%, definitely. So anyway, I got in touch with Women's Aid, charities, and another charity as well. I can't remember the name, a Salford charity. And I started digging around with them. And anyway, I became good friends with the CEO there. She was a lovely lady. Another lady called Dawn, amazing, yeah. Another lady called Dawn, and she basically, we was getting on, we was talking about it, we was going to get a contract together, we was saying, like, listen, I can develop it, you can take over the building, I'll keep all the maintenance, and everyone would be happy. And then something happened, I don't know what it was, but I think she ended up not losing her job. I think she got suspended for a while.
Anything to do with what the projects are, just something completely unrelated?
Completely unrelated. I don't know. I never got into it, and I wouldn't like to badmouth her and say things. I don't think she done much wrong, but maybe she did. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got these other details, and I sent in and said, listen, it's B. James. I've got the refuge I'm building. And they pulled a dead end on me and said, no, I never heard of it, nothing about it. So straight away, from me thinking I'm signing a contract to starting to building this facility with the Homes England scenario as well, for them to fund it, I thought, well, I'm not cracked it, but there's going to be a lot of headache of getting the funding myself.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, where do I go from here? So I was in a bit of a lost territory.
Especially given that time where he's like, opportunities aren't really presenting themselves readily, are they? Because everyone's in lockdown. Yeah. Nobody's really, society and commerce, everything's kind of slowed down. And then to have the rug pulled like that.
Yeah, well, it wasn't proper pull, because then they said, oh no, send us your proposal in, because we haven't seen it. So got a proposal, type cracking proposal. Knew it was within the rate of what they could afford. Wasn't too expensive. It was going to cost me still money. I didn't know where I was still going to go with it, just to make it more appealing. And they come back, oh no, we're not interested. And I said, and it was like one of them moments when you go, oh shit, what now? Because, I'm just like, all right, I've got a couple of houses here and there, but I've invested everything I bought with the money I paid for the carpet
time
shop.
as well, isn't it? And the time that you've not been doing anything else, that you've invested into that project.
And I'd sold 2 houses to buy the carpet shop as well. So the rental income wasn't coming in off them, because I was just thinking, well, I'll refinance a building, I'll build 9 apartments, and I'll walk away into the sunset.
Yeah. And you can kind of struggle through when you've got that light at the end of the tunnel, can't you? You can just go, I can pull a bit of money from here, I can borrow. And
I could put money against it and then get something else and carry on borrowing money from against it. But anyway, I'd come to a stop where this was just, I was already thinking, well, it's all right because I'm getting it funded to build. I'm going to keep hold of the maintenance, so that takes an headache off. And at the end of it,
at least you've got this thing that's going to be important to the community.
Yeah, well, more than that, it's it's going to save people's lives. So when this rug got pulled from under my feet, I was in a situation. So I got hold of Homes England and tried to explain to them. And they said, "Oh, the application you've come for, because it had gone to and from, that's run out. So you're going to have to redo it."
Which I guess that's not a short, sweet process. It's kind of like
it was
even to draw the paperwork up from your end, let alone have it approved by somebody else.
Well, I had a bit of bad staff as well who'd not filled out the forms wrong. She's gone now. Praise the Lord, because she'd not done what she said. So they were sending it back to me, and I'm saying, "Listen, we're supposed to have done this," and they said, "Well, you should have put the other form running concurrent. Well, sent them together and dealt with them at the same time. But you've only sent one, so you've got to send the other, and that one's now ran out." So I said, "Do you know what? I can't waste any more time on this." I said, "While I'm wasting time, people can be dying on the streets. I'm going back to the original plan, which was to build an homeless shelter."
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say sod domestic abuse, because I would never say that, but I just thought, obviously, that road's gone dead.
Yeah.
The original plan was to do an homeless facility. I know it's going to save lives. I seen it happen with the carpet shop. Let's get it done. So I thought, well, sod it. I'll sell my house. I've got an apartment for sale, and I thought I'll refinance this building, and I'll fucking do it myself.
That is seriously putting it on the line, that, innit?
Well, it's everything I've got. It's everything I've got. It's shit or bust. But I know it's going to be worth it, and it's fucking, no matter what, I know I'm going to do it. It's not done yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can only speak from my personal perspective, but as soon as certain things stop you dead in your tracks. And as soon as I scrolled through that LinkedIn post that Connolly's had shared, I was like, wow. You know what I mean? And at this point, I didn't even know that you'd risked, you'd sold your own house to fund this thing. I just knew that you were building a homeless shelter and you were self-funding it. So from that, I was in straight away, because I thought, this ticks all the boxes for me. This thing that we're doing here is, social value, at its core. We want to put things out into the community and help people and all the rest of it. So straight away, it had my attention. And then when you hear the backstory behind it and sort of how it's come about and all the rest of it, it's like, I think it's going to do really, really well. And it's started to pick up a lot more traction.
A lot more, like you say, Connolly's, free scaffolding. We've got Marshalls and MKM. They've donated the bricks to me. Then I thought of this idea about the engraved bricks,
buy a brick.
Buy a brick, basically, so we can get the community involved because it's for the community. Yeah. It's not about me. It's not about it's about the people that are in there. This building will save lives. That's 1,000,000%. Yeah. Because as I've said, I'm gonna invest in in-house life coaching. So people going in there and they're gonna come out with the right tools. To fucking fulfill their lives. It's got to be how I want it.
Yeah. Because we were saying before, I think just at the very beginning of the show, we were saying like getting them off the street it's solving it part of the problem. And so a part of it is maybe for maybe local councils or authorities and stuff like that. I don't want to say and speak bad of them, but maybe it is a case of just tick that box, get them off the streets, out of sight, out of mind. But it's just going to be that perpetual cycle of back to where you came from and kind of.
They're not going to recover. No. They're not going to get back on the feet by just giving them a room for a night and saying, or a room for 3 months.
Well, if anything, you could argue that you're enabling them to stay in the situation they're in, because it's like, well, there's that warm blanket of, assurance around you that you don't have to pay. You've got a free place to stay. You don't have to worry about accommodation. You don't have to worry about this, which is great. But if you've got those problems going on around you. Is it necessarily going to spur you on to make change, or is it,
is it just going to keep it in the same hole, basically? Well, yeah, I mean, I do a bit of work with a homeless charity called Two Brews. They're a cracking charity. I mean, in fact, they spread the word on mine a lot, and they actually got me a cabin off Sunbelt Rentals. But their aim is, you know, to get people off the streets. And I've sat with them for weeks, and the job they do getting people off the streets, that people would rather go to them than they would rather go to anywhere else.
Yeah.
So this lad called Davey works with another lad called Jordan. They sit there on the phone and they actually get these people places to live, and they show an actual compassion and care for the homeless. I think a charity like them is something that's needed. So I've been liaising with them quite often about my place, you know, saying, well, this is going to be happening. Not for them to run it, but, you know, to give them a helping hand. And
it's getting as many different people involved as possible, isn't it? Like we were saying, weren't we? You know, you can't do it all on your own, and it's the way in it. It's we're doing this, we're doing that.
Well, we are in a way, yeah.
And there's like, you know, if we're having, you know, this show and all the rest of it, if we're having some small involvement in it, it's just gathering that momentum in it.
Yeah.
And we'll buy a brick, by the way. We'll buy a brick.
Thank you, mate. Well, it's like, you know, the people that I've put into there, you know, they're actually saying, oh, this is fantastic. And it is a fantastic thing. I mean, why wouldn't you want to put into something that you can actually see happening? Yeah. So, like, you can. I've said
a lot of charities as well. Like,
you give it them, and
where's it going?
Yeah. You know, you hear, and I'm not speaking bad about any charities, and I wouldn't do that. But some charities, you hear about the MD
and the marketing,
substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
Where this, I'm taking absolutely nothing. Every penny of that buy a brick goes into the development. Yeah. It goes into and nowhere else, and you can actually see it happen. Like I celebrate, the transparency that I'm trying to show to people. That
I think that's important as well.
Naff all out of it. I mean, I'm putting myself in 700 grand debt for one. You know, that's a debt. If I don't deliver this, that building gets stuck and I get zero. Yeah, I'm on my ass.
It's just unbelievable. You know, the work you're doing. I'd like to say, I think big things are gonna happen. Yeah. And we were saying, I mean, everyone's story for ending up on the streets, you know, becoming homeless or whatever. Everybody's story's kind of different, but you do see a lot of men on the streets, and I'm a massive advocate for male mental health. You know, we're speaking what we have experienced, lost family members to suicide. You know, you said you'd known people yourself, similar sort of thing. And, you know, if we can get in and stop that from happening, I think that's a huge sort of positive for society.
Yeah, well, I think, sorry.
What I was going to say is a lot of these men, you can see the downward spiral happening, because it's like, say, I think it was a Chris Rock skit, and he was saying something on this skit. He was saying the only 3 people who are loved unconditionally are men. Are women, children, and dogs. But if you're a man, you're not loved unconditionally. Like, you've got to provide some sort of value.
Surplus to requirements.
And exactly that. And like, you know, it's so easy for men to, you know, you lose your job, you drink to sort of numb the pain. Then you think, I need to recover this money that I lost with the drinking. You get into gambling. You know, that's money down the pan, and that's gambling's such a
it's the worst.
Yeah, because it's legal. It's not frowned upon as much,
and there's no limit. Like say you're a smackhead or a heroin addict. I shouldn't say that. Say you are, and it's heroin's £10 a bag. There's no limit for the bank gambling. Yeah, you can put 20 grand on there, and then if you want,
exactly,
and it's gone.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. In fact, a couple of my friends go to GA.
Same, yeah. And a couple of my good friends.
Yeah, not mine too. Yeah. And you know, I've seen them at the top of the game where they've got all these flashcards, and the next thing they've done it all in like a space of weeks.
It's quick, and then it's like, you know, at some point there's no, you know, the credit card's gone, your access to finance is gone, your personal finances have gone. There's nowhere to turn.
No.
And if you're the figurehead of the family, and you're having to go in and say, look, I've blown it all, you know, the weight of expectation from your family bears down on you, I'd imagine.
Your wife has enough of you, probably.
Yeah, the wife has enough, you've done it again, blah, blah. So easy to get into that downward spiral, and then it's just like, you know, you're going to, eventually, you're going to hit rock bottom. And I just think another thing is a lot of these. I was saying before, there was a fellow outside Morrison's who I stopped and had a chat with yesterday morning. Give him a couple of quid or whatever, the change from my coffee, and sat down, had a chat. He had his leg blown off in Afghanistan, and it's like he's gone from being this war hero who's really got this mission in life to protect or whatever, and then once he's left, he just feels kind of abandoned.
A lot of it's caused, I think it's a lot of it's caused by PTSD as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like they can't get back on their feet, and they have this depression, and because they're so proud men as well, because they've been in the army, they probably think of, I don't fucking want help, and
I need to help myself. Yeah, because there's that sort of message of
mentality for the soldier mentality, basically.
Yeah, you get up and you sort it out yourself, and they don't maybe want to share it. Another thing, this kind of leads into what we were speaking about with the homeless facility. I think with these, for the life coaching side of things, we sometimes do a bit of work with a charity called Procure Plus.
Yeah.
Funding for pre-employment to get people back into work. I've been doing a little bit in some of the prisons for a friend of mine called Dave Abraham. He owns Fulcrum Scaffolding Safety and Training. And the idea there is that we go into the prisons, we give them 5 days of training. It culminates in a labourer's card for them. And then after that, we pair them with a scaffolding company. In fact, Wayne Connell is taking quite a few of these lads. So they're on Rottle.
Brilliant.
Coming out on licence, pair them with a scaffolding company. Results are unbelievable, and they won't go on to reoffend.
Yeah,
they won't. No. You know what I mean? They've got a different identity once they come out of there. They're a scaffolder now, or a trainee.
Well, I could do with getting hold of them, to be fair, because that'd be fantastic for this project. Because as you say,
yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah, it's like as I said to you before, I've done a bit of research on this, and that is where there's a cut-off point. I think we discussed, and basically it's when you break up with your missus, you don't see your kids, you lose your house, you end up going on the beer, you end up back at your mum's, your mum don't want you because you're drinking, and then it goes down and down. Before you know it, you're on the street, and it's like it can be prevented. There's a certain cut-off point when you can say, whoa, what are you doing? No, listen, get here.
Yeah, there's a point where you can intervene.
And I'm having the facility is kid friendly as well. So if there's a bloke like that who can see his kids in there, there'll be no problems. The kids can come round.
Yeah, it's a safe environment.
And there's places like when they go down this spiral, they can't see the kids because they're off the nut, or they haven't got a place to see the kids. They go to the park and the kids start looking at their dad who's stinking or completely lost control.
I say I've got a personal experience of this with family. I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that, but and they have to see their old man. You know what I mean? Outside Tesco and thing, and then there's a stigma of that in school. I'll see your dad outside. It's horrendous for the kids. Horrendous for the kids. And you know what? Like you say, I think if you get in at the right time, and
you can prevent it.
You can. And you're providing that safe space for the kids to go and see them and say, all right, you might not be in the best nick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If when you first get in there, but you're in a safe space, you're clean at least.
Yeah, they're smart. They're going to be smart. I'm going to make sure of that. They're not going to be like, I've been in some of these hostels and I've been in some of these refuges where it's just like, well, you share that, you share this, and you're a man of your 40s.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
No.
You want your own space. You want listen, come here. So let's say they've got some of them, I'd say 2 single beds or a double bed, or we've got a double bed or 2 single beds. What I'm going to do, I'm going to convert the couches in the front rooms to sofa beds. So if the kids do stay, they have got their own bedroom if it comes to it, or you can either stay together.
Yeah, because you do see that in the women's refuges, don't you? Yeah. There's like a safe place for the kids to stay and all the rest of it, and it's
it's not just men. I mean, women again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The building was designed by the police, by the way. I went down to the Met Police in London because obviously it was going to be a refuge at one point. Yeah. So I got their spin on things. So basically, it's a high spec building, with domestic violence in its armour, basically, because that's how it got designed. So
because people turning up and going berserk and see me kids, and
they had to keep that as a secret for a while when it was going to be a refuge. But obviously now it's not a refuge. That's why I can actually say I'm building a homeless facility, because if I was building a women's refuge, I'd be able to tell nobody.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was. You know what? I was just about to say something about a local facility, but then I thought to myself, if I say where it is, where and all the rest of it, I don't want to. Because it's a security risk, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah, because these women have escaped volatile situations, nutcases and things like that, where they've got to, if they find out where they are, they could come and do some serious damage to them. So
I think I've seen on one of your social media posts that you were saying about, the type of people that you'd have in the homeless facility, and you were saying about, women who've, I found that really interesting. Women who've been in toxic relationships and stuff like that, been victims of domestic violence, and they're, the man who was running the house was running the finances. So these people come out of that situation
and they've got no life skills. So that's what I want to know. There's a couple of courses or workshops that we could do, like simple stuff, changing plugs, paying your bills, keeping things, doing a CV, things that you'd think would be easy to do. Do you know what I mean?
But if someone's been controlling you for the last 15 years of your life.
I mean, some women are victims of domestic violence. Some women just think, I've been fucking treated like a dickhead, and they have, and they're scared of getting out of it because they've got no money. And so there's the old domestic violence thing that women go through, which is a terrible thing to go through. But there's also just the woman and the kids who need to get out of this relationship because there's a bloke who's controlling them, but not by hitting them about or knocking them. But the other way of domestic violence, the mind games.
Yeah. Because when people say violence, you think aggression, but there's passive aggression as well.
Of course there is, yeah.
And that's a dangerous one to to try and police, because when if someone's a passively aggressive person,
coercive,
the outside don't see it. No. That person's maybe going, oh well, blah blah blah, and like discrediting somebody for what they're doing and all the rest of it. It doesn't look overtly like if you were walking through a park and you saw someone, are you effing this, that, and the other? It's visible. You can see there's a situation there, but with the subtle stuff, the control and the coercive behaviour.
And it's not just men, it's women as well. Women do it as well. I've seen a lot of my friends, they've gone absolutely crackers because a woman's got into their head that much. And this part of, men aren't even thought about on this thing. There's not even, because I checked up on this, there's not even a men's refuge for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like the
domestic abuse. There's homosexuals as well. Forgetting about that. And there's not one in the full UK.
Oh, really?
No, because when I was talking to Women's Aid, they asked me about me doing it for this one. And I said, well,
really interesting.
Well, it's a business opportunity, but it's not a nice one, is it? But no, obviously mine wasn't. Mine's more like, fucking hell, this is the right thing to do. I seen it work.
Yeah.
And when I seen it work, I went, I saved his life, I've saved his life, I've saved his life. I'm not thinking of them. When I thought of this working, I thought, we can save lives. We can save lives. And I'm talking 30 people every 3 months, 120 people a year. Yeah?
Yeah.
10 years, 1,200 people. Maybe not all saved, but if we can save 50% of them, that's 600 people's lives you've saved and
it's not even
or changed.
And again, we were talking about the suicide thing, and I was speaking to a gentleman yesterday who's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. We're probably going to delve into that subject, but when someone experiences that, it's almost like the person perishes, but then it's the hand grenade effect of everybody around him. It gets hit with the shrapnel. But I guess the opposite of that is when something positive happens, it's the wider effect on society. So like you say, you might save 50% of them, but that 50% go on to be better fathers, better mothers, more responsible members of society, and then that has a ripple effect.
And the triggers as well. You can let them know when it's going to happen or when they're going back down that spiral, the little alarm bells. And I'm going to do afterlife coaching as well. So when they do leave the facility, they can always pick up the phone. Yeah. I'm struggling here.
Yeah. I think
that's key.
Yeah, that's something that's missing, especially with the military veterans as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes they're out and then that's it, you're out. It's like, well, if you want help, you've got to come and see us. Proactively, the aftercare of people from the facility checking in and go, yeah, it's been a couple of years now, he's still okay. It's like with GA, if you stop going and you recovered, you're a recovering gambling addict, it's like you'd only potentially one bad decision, one little flutter on the football or whatever away from getting back into where you were previously. So yeah, like you say, the aftercare.
Well, it's the same with the beer as well. It happened to my friend. He stopped drinking. He's an alcoholic, and he stopped drinking 10 years ago. 11 years ago now. But when Salford got to the final of with St Helens at Old Trafford, and he.
Do you support Salford, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I do. Yeah. Salford Rugby, Man United.
Oh, Man United.
Yeah.
Happy days.
So anyway, he got 10 years off the booze, goes to the Salford match, has a few beers, first time in 10 years, back on the wagon. And I mean right back on it, drinking bottles of vodka. Within 8 weeks, he was dead.
Whoa.
Dead.
You know?
I mean, that's someone, honestly, I think he battered it for that.
Honestly, when you said that, I had no idea. I thought, fuck, you know.
Yeah, they found him with a bottle of vodka in his hand. And again, it just that little trigger, it just sent him spiraling. And that's why you understand when these alcoholics, they come off it and they never touch it again. I mean, I was talking...
Russell Brand, he's kind of a big advocate for it. It's an abstinence-based recovery.
Nothing. I mean, I've got a friend now who's recovering now. He's in recovery. I've got a couple of friends in recovery. And I went for a meal with one of them about 4 or 5 weeks ago to a nice little restaurant in Salford. It is a nice one in Salford, by the way. And Pacini's, it's beautiful, to be fair. All the footballers, it's a bit of a nice place. And I said to him, what do you want? He went, I'll have chicken. He said, with this sauce, white wine sauce. And he stopped, was waiting. He went, can you take the white wine out of it?
Yeah.
I went, mate, it's cooking wine. It's not the same. He went, no.
Yeah.
And that's how...
Yeah, because it's not got the alcohol in it, but it's like the taste, the association with drinking. Yeah.
And he wouldn't. And do you know what? He's a DJ as well. So imagine trying to be a DJ, trying to recover. And... trying to be a DJ, trying to recover and watching booze around you and maybe drugs and things like that flowing.
It's fair
because it comes hand in glove a lot of the time, doesn't it?
It's like a gambling addict going, like, where do you work? Oh, Ladbrokes.
Yeah, Ladbrokes. It's exactly the same. I went, this lad does a DJ set every Friday, Saturday and Sunday night and just doesn't touch anything.
Wow.
It's inspirational, really.
Yeah, maybe we'll get him on.
Yeah, get him on.
I don't think this is going to be the first time you're on, but the last time you're on, I should say. I think it's first a minute. Cause...
Well, obviously, we've got to go through the development. I mean, we're early days yet. I've knocked the building down.
Yeah, I saw,
The building's gone. But I've had a couple of people on about the piling and excavation. There's a company on called AE Yates, is it? I mean, I haven't met up with them yet.
Name drop them.
AE Yates, Mick. I'm on you. But he arranged a meeting where anyway, his life's busy. I know he's a massive firm, but he's meeting up with me next week. So, Mick, please, free. no. But even if he can give me a lot cheaper,
yeah, that's it. The more the more help you get,
and why wouldn't you?
I just think it's going to snowball.
I cannot think of any reason why you wouldn't want to help this out. If you want to save lives, help me out.
Yeah.
Help us out.
Well, I think we're 48 minutes in, and I know we're busy and all the rest of it. Where can people find you? How do people get hold of of James Worthington?
Well, I've got my Instagram. I think Worthington Real 5. I'm on Facebook. I'm not.
Why 5, by the way?
I don't know. I think 4 and 3, 2 and 1 were gone. So looking for loads of Worthington real estate.
I thought he was maybe like a centre half or something back in the day.
No. Looking at the smallest centre half, eh?
Well,
5'7".
Martinez is,
Oh yeah, it was a crack up. But yeah, no, it wasn't the centre half. I think everything else was spoken for. Okay. I think it just come up Worthington Real 5 at the time. I had a normal Instagram account, and then I just was over looking for a business one, and I think that was top of the list, and I just clicked on it. So there's no association to the number 5.
And you're on LinkedIn now as well.
LinkedIn, yeah, James Anthony Worthington LinkedIn, Worthington Real Estate Facebook, which I came off Facebook about 10 years ago.
Yeah, you know what? Funnily enough, I've been on it, but I've not really touched the post on Facebook since we started this, and then shared the first episode. Yeah. On there, so we're back on there now. So
you're back on there.
Yeah. So it's Facebook,
Worthington Real Estate.
Okay.
But again, I've just had a friendly person. I spoke to you before that said that they'll take on my social media, which takes an headache off because a lot of the time I'm trying to get on these business meetings, calls, being on site as well. and you've got to plug a social media to get momentum. Let's be honest, because you need to let people know about this great thing.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And well, this is how we've come. We didn't know each other before, did we?
Never. No.
I think we'll have a lot to chat about going forward in the future because, the stories you've told are brilliant. Can't wait to hear more about them as they develop. But yeah, the social media side of things, I guess to an extent, it's a double-edged sword. But using it in the right way, that's how we've got involved. I'm going to buy a brick. I'm sure people will see this. Buy a brick. Make sure you get on and buy a brick.
GoFundMe, the homeless facility, buy a brick campaign. So if you type that in your actual,
and we'll leave a link in the description to the video as well.
Yeah, please.
So you'll be able to see that. It'll be on the Instagram. Give as much as you can. Buy a brick. Get involved.
Yeah, get involved because if you've got building services or you've got a boss for building materials or anything like that, just get hold of me. Get hold of me because like I said, it's for us. It's from us. For the people that are going to go in there, so it's not like,
and it's something that's going to outlive you, innit?
Of course it is, yeah. It's going to go on, and like I said, when I'm happy with how the building's being ran and I see the results, I'll do another, and another, and another until people look at it and say, "This is how it should be done." You can't put someone in a room and expect them to fix themselves. Yeah. If they've got the help and the thing behind them, then this is how it should be done. And I hope the councils will come forward and say, "Yeah, that's right." And maybe copy the model that I'm going to do. Yeah,
100%. If other people start doing their own as well, copy and paste, there's the blueprint.
Yeah, of course. And do you know what? It's not about, I started. It's not about that. It's about saving people's lives. And if they copy what I'm going to do, it will save people's lives and it'll stop people going back to the streets or back to the habits that they had or back to, all the other stuff that's behind it. It's the way it should be done. And I'm a big believer that it's going to work.
Oh, 100%. I've no doubt. I think now that it's out, people can't ignore it anymore.
No, they can't.
Do you know what I mean? They can't ignore it anymore. It's just going to snowball.
And it's not that I'm not saying that the councils and that are doing it wrong because they're not. It's just that, I've been on the streets.
Yeah.
I know what works and what doesn't. I've spoke to people on the street and saying if they had this help, would they have went back? No, they probably wouldn't have. Don't get me wrong, some people you can't help. It's like any sort of thing. If someone are unhelpable, they're happy with where they are, they're getting it put on a plate for them, or they're just, they're so far into the drug scenario that they won't get off it.
But I mean, the people that you can help.
But the people that you can help them.
Yeah. Lastly, for anybody who wants to grab a coffee, somewhere in the Swinton area, where should they go?
Oh, yeah, they should go to 186 Moorside Road, Kalmati Coffee Club. It's like the best coffee you could ever drink. And they do paninis, bagels, and they don't do a bad breakfast either.
Top man. James, perfect end to the show. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story. And we're definitely going to keep an eye on this as it progresses. So until next time, everybody.
Yeah, and if you carry on following the story on the social media, and thank you, Isaac. It's been a pleasure, mate. Cheers.
Top man.
Thank you.